Hi, today is January 21st, 2023. It's a very important day for me. It is my celebration of 4 years of sobriety, abstinence from alcohol and drugs, and that is an amazing feat. I can't believe that it's been 4 years since I decided to stop drinking. So much of what is good in my life has come from stopping drinking. And I talk a lot about having intentions and having goals, and there was a lot holding me back 4 years ago, and part of it was this not so effective coping mechanism of going to drink when I was not feeling good about myself, or when a problem was so big that all I knew to do was to just try to numb myself from having to deal with the reality of the situation. I think I grew up quite a bit in the last 4 years, and everything that I have today is because I made the decision to get sober. So if you're on the fence about wanting to try a new way of life, give it a shot. I gave myself 3 months to try sobriety. I was not passing the CFP exam, and it was because I didn't make time to study, and I felt as if the rules didn't apply to me, that I was somehow better than everyone and that I didn't need to study. And so I spent the weekends just partying. And Manny from 4 years ago was a little defeated from a few things that happened, but one of the major things that happened 4 years ago is that my then husband at the time asked for a divorce. And at that point, I could see that our relationship was no longer working, and that the best thing that we needed to do was to separate. And that was a really difficult time, but what it did is it forced me to take inventory of where my life stood at that moment, and it became very, very apparent to my therapist that this not so healthy coping mechanism had really done a toll on my life, and consequences started to show up. It wasn't, I wasn't in my late 20s anymore, and I couldn't make the excuse of just I'm young and that's why I'm partying. It's, I was in my early 30s by this point. My friends were having kids, getting married, getting promotions, buying houses. Everyone, it felt, was getting ahead, and maybe sure, the material things that they got, but it also felt like they were just maturing. And I wasn't. I was in this perpetual mode of just living for the weekend. And it wasn't a life, it was just an existence, I guess what I'm trying to say. And today I can say that I think I've hit my stride. I'm by no means done in this journey of growth, but I'm for sure on the right path. And I've been able to do so many things that I've always wanted to do in sobriety. I got a lot of the cash and prizes. I did eventually pass the CFP exam, and I got certified as a certified financial planner. I got promoted. I started to make more money. I was able to buy a condo in Palm Springs. I bought a house in San Francisco. And I don't say that to brag about the money stuff. That's definitely part of it. But what's more valuable is that I have a good relationship with my mom. I have a good relationship with my family. I'm able to show up for them when they need me. I'm able to show up for friends when they need me. And I'm thinking about other people more than I am thinking about myself. Sure, I have my own interests, but I go into situations today thinking, what can I add to this situation versus what can I get out of it? And that has changed my entire way of approaching life. At one point, I thought I was just a piece of shit, if you can believe that. I know I give the outward appearance that I have all this confidence, and I do have confidence, but there were times in my life when I did not feel 100% great about myself. That, coupled with anxiety and depression, which needed to be medically addressed with psychiatric medication and therapy, all of that, plus getting sober and just this lifelong journey of growth, is what makes my life very rich today, good and bad. I'm by no means done growing, and I do not have all the answers, but I am so much more at ease with myself than I ever have been before. And I invite anyone who is just even mildly curious about trying to stop drinking and trying to stop using, give it a shot. Find someone you know who is sober and who is in a 12-step program to give you kind of like their take on what has changed in their lives. And I no longer live in this like fantasy world where the rules do not apply to me and that I'm entitled to everything. Like, I know if I want things in life that I have to be willing to work for them. And one of the things I've worked on in the last 4 years is maintaining this sobriety, and it has brought me a rich life. I have so many friends in sobriety. I've been able to reconnect with friends that I burned a lot of bridges towards the end of my using, and many of those relationships are now repaired, and they've seen the change in me and they believe me and people can trust me. And I think I share all of this because when I was getting sober at first, in that first year, I needed to hear stories of people who had gone through the worst. And everybody's story is different. And what I listen for at least is like this commonality. There is one if I'm looking for one, but if I'm looking for differences, I'm gonna find the differences. I really think that I'm one of the very, very lucky people who got to AA and really liked it. Like, I know that's not the story for most people, and for some folks, relapse is part of their story. Mine was at the beginning, you know, but I'm here now, and I had apprehensions about wanting to share this part of me so publicly on this platform, but I think it's important because it gives me an opportunity to kind of just like reflect back on the type of person that I was and the work and the time and the effort that I've put in so that I could be like the best version of myself that I can be right now. And I walk through this world today with my head held high. I do not feel like a piece of shit. I know that I bring value to the situations that I'm in and that I'm loved and I'm worthy of love. And those were things I didn't think were entitled to me before. And all of that from just giving up those two things. So if you have any questions about getting sober and you want someone to talk to, I invite you to reach out to me, because I think that it's important to me that I stay close to those folks that are beginning their journey in sobriety, because it reminds me every day why I choose to live this way of life. Thank you so much for listening. This was very much the therapy I needed today. So thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.